So you know why they called it the ZFC, Jordan? Let me tell you, this is a little nod to myself. It's for Chris, because I've been asking Nikon to make an FE style mirrorless body just like this for so many years, to the point where they're annoyed and they want me to stop talking. And well, this is a really nice gesture. I accept your gift, Nikon. Welcome back, Deep Review TV viewers. It's Chris Nichols here, and I'm very excited because this is a ZFC. Now, this is a pre-production sample. You know, we can't really shoot a sample gallery or anything. There'll be some sample images that are in the video here today, but we can touch dials, we can touch buttons, we can rub the leatherette. I mean, we can look at the styling, feel the weight, and I think that's really a big part of the appeal of this camera. So Jordan and I are gonna spend today talking about this new ZFC. Now, of course, the first thing that strikes me about this camera is just how similar it is to a classic Nikon FE, FM, FE2, FM2 style kind of body. But it is definitely much lighter weight. I mean, this is not made of copper silumen like those older bodies were, but it is a magnesium metal body. The leatherette as well feels good. It's separate panels. It's not just molded plastic. And they put little touches like putting it on this custom button, and of course, over the prism housing. The dials themselves all click really solidly. The ISO dial does give you third stop increments, and then you do have the option to push up into your high settings as well. And then the shutter speed dial also works in full stop increments, much like an FE2 or FM2, right up to 4,000th of a second. Now, you also have two command dials on this body, and they actually feel really good. They're in a nice position. They feel solid. As usual, by default on most Nikon bodies, the front would be your aperture, but the back you can use for shutter speed, and of course you can customize those differently. Click the shutter speed to third step increments, and now you're using your custom back command dial here to change your shutter speeds. Now on the left here on the top of the camera, we've got our mode selector switch, and it's in order of MASP as well as auto. I do like that we have a switch selector here to go between stills and video. That's nice if you're gonna go back and forth between photos and vlogging, for example, on this camera. And there's an old school little LCD panel here. Now it's just to show your current f-stop that you've got set. Now that's nice to have, but it only shows when the camera's on. And it'd be nice actually that when the camera's turned off, you'd have the aperture still there all the time. Just that way you can see very quickly at a glance ISO, shutter speed on the dial, and f-stop. But that's a minor point. Here we've got a really nice exposure compensation dial, and we do have our movie recording button here, but you can customize that to do other things. Here's our on-off switch and our shutter, and the only thing I wish is that this shutter was threaded. That would be cool. On the back of the camera, we have a very standard setup. I do like the position of the AE/AFL button, and of course I'll set that for focusing. We've got our quick menu here with our tiles. That comes up the way a lot of other ones do. No autofocusing joystick, but we do have a joy pad for navigation, and of course we do have touchscreen as well, and it works with, you know, the quick menu. Up here on the left, we've got playback, we've got our garbage, and we've got our EVF display selector. Now, as far as EVF and displays go, this is basically the same as the Z50. Very standard par for the course at this price point, 2.36 million dot EVF and just over 1 million dots on the back panel. And Jordan and I love this. Look at this, fully articulating panel. You've even got the leatherette on the back there. This is the first fully articulating LCD panel we've seen on a mirrorless Z camera. It's 3 inches, it's got touch controls, and I do like that you also have some touch exposure controls. For example, ISO can be changed on the screen. That'll be nice when you're vlogging again, for example. The only issue I would say is it looks like it will absolutely get in the way of HDMI and microphone inputs, but again, a lot of cameras do that. Now on the bottom of the camera, we've got our battery port, ENEAL 25, as well as a single SD card slot. It's UHS 1, so it's not going to be a camera you can use for hardcore action or sports with high burst rates, but this camera will shoot up to 11 frames per second with autofocus tracking. Now, we've also got an interesting indent here on the bottom of the camera. That makes me think that, you know, I'm going to slap my MD12 on here. Okay, that doesn't actually work very well. That doesn't fit. I can't use the dials, but that indent makes me think that, yeah, we could get some accessory that would then index into that hole. Very interesting ideas for the future. So I just want to show you guys this for a second. Here's the classic Nikon FE alongside the ZFC, and you can see that they got the dimensions very similar, and the styling really is reminiscent. I mean, this is what we were hoping for. I even like that we've got the same front there in front of, well, here the pentaprism and here the EVF housing, but same font, very similar kind of look and feel. The thickness of the grip, it's the same style of grip, but it's actually slightly thicker on the ZFC, and I find that a little bit more comfortable. And of course, another big part of the comfort is these these are quite heavy classic cameras. In fact, the ZFC weighs 390 grams. It's 5 grams lighter than the Z50, but it's actually less weight than the entire 20mm lens here on its own. So yeah, very lightweight, very easy to carry around. Now, what about this camera compared to the Z50? Well, why would I go with the Z50? It does have some features that still might make it stand out. As far as the back panel goes, some people prefer the tilting panel. I think you're crazy, but I get it. Some people are going to prefer having the chunky grip on there built into the body. And the Z50 does have a pop-up flash here as well, okay? And the ZFC does not have that. But I think that the ZFC makes a lot more sense. There are some nice features here, for example. I do like having the articulating screen. The USB-C on the side of the camera, the Z50 has that as well, but on the ZFC, you can power the camera via USB while the camera's operating, and that might be really nice if you're doing vlogging or using this as a webcam, for example. Otherwise, as far as image quality goes, although this is a 20 megapixel APS-C sensor as well, we don't know if it's going to be the same kind of image quality or slightly better here on the camera, but I would certainly say that this is not just a rebadged and rebodied Z50. Now, we also have a brand new lens coming out with this camera. This is a brand new 28mm 2.8 lens. Now, there's two versions of this lens. They're identical optically, but this one's styled to look a lot like a classic AI/AIS lens. And then there's going to be another 28 2.8 with more modern stylings, which will be out for the other Z full frame cameras, because yes, you heard me right, this is a full frame lens. So a nice 28mm 2.8, which will give us a full frame equivalent of about 42mm on this camera. So of course, you've got a whole lineup of full frame Z mount lenses that'll go on here beautifully. You can use the FTZ adapter on here as well and adapt your SLR lenses and adapt also your older AI and AIS lenses, as long as you're okay with stop down metering method. There's only two kind of hopeful wishes that I'd like to see. There's no manual focus autofocus selector switch on the body, and I do kind of wish we had that. Otherwise, of course, you can go through the menu in the camera, or you can get lenses that have it on it, but unfortunately this 28mm does not have that as an option. But even more wishful thinking is the lenses themselves, okay? What I'm hoping is that Nikon doesn't just hope that we do full frame lenses only on these cameras. What I'm wishing for is that Nikon comes out with a whole line of DX APS-C specific lenses that look like the styling to go with this camera, because the styling on this 28mm, as cute as it is merely cosmetic, okay? I wanna see new designs made specifically for the smaller sensor. That way, I mean, look at what Fujifilm's done with their APS-C lenses. We could have small, compact, beautiful prime lenses that look appropriate on this body, or we could have some really nice bright apertured prime lenses that are no bigger and bulkier than this 28mm 2.8 here. So I think there's a lot of potential, and I'm very excited to see where the system goes in the future. So clearly, as a photographer, I'm sold just on the styling alone. I love it, but it does handle really, really nicely. But interesting enough, for a classic retro style camera, this actually steps up video features as well over the Nikon Z50. So let's go over to Jordan and see what he says about that.
I'm excited to talk about this. I thought we were actually having a conversation, but I've just been sitting here listening to you talk. So I'm gonna take this and go do some vlogging. Give. Okay, so now we're vlogging with the ZFC, and you can tell there's going to be a little bit of bounce on that. We're using the kit 16-50 lens, which does give you image stabilization, and actually a really nice wide angle for vlogging because there's no crop in 4K mode, but it's not quite as effective as an IBIS unit is going to be. Now, I do think this is actually a better video camera than the Z50 for a couple of reasons. As Chris already mentioned, I do really like having a fully articulating screen. On the Z50, the screen just flipped out below, so if you wanted to use it with a tripod or selfie stick, it was going to block the view of the screen completely. But the other thing that's really nice with this is it has eye detect in video mode. That's working right now. I can see it's really picking up my eye. The real problem though is we don't have a lens with super shallow depth of field. So once I get a production version of this, we'll try it with like an 85-1.8 and see how well it does. But for right now, I'm pretty impressed with it. Now, unlike the full frame Nikon Z cameras, we don't have a log profile or the ability to output raw video to an external recorder. Really, the most flexible thing you have is Nikon's flat profile, which I actually like quite a bit. Now, it doesn't have a ton of dynamic range in it. It's a fairly contrasty image, but still gives you a bump over the standard profile profiles, and it is very, very easy to color grade. And for a lot of beginners coming to this, I think things like the fully articulating screen, the great autofocus, and the ease of grading that footage is going to be more important than some of the more advanced features that we see in the full frame camera. On that same topic, we do have a microphone in on this, but unfortunately there's no way to monitor your audio whatsoever. I was really hoping we'd see something like what Fujifilm's done with their X-T30, X-T4, where you could just plug an adapter into the USB-C port and get a headphone monitor out of that, but unfortunately that's not the case with the ZFC. I know a bunch of people are going to be saying, like, look, this is supposed to be a classic throwback camera. Why does it have all these video features on it? Well, I think that a lot of Fujifilm's success with their XT series shows that there's a lot of photographers who do really care about cool vintage aesthetics, but also want something capable of recording good video from time to time. Quite a few years ago, Nikon took kind of their first stab at a retro camera with the DF, and that had no video functionality whatsoever. Wasn't a terribly popular camera. Now, I think there's a few reasons for that, but one of the big ones is I do think a lot of people want some good video functionality, and for that reason, I think the ZFC is going to be a much more popular camera than the DF ever was.
Now, I know there's going to be naysayers out there right off the bat on the ZFC who are going to say this camera is just a gimmick or a toy or, you know, just style over substance. And unfortunately, that's a pretty myopic view because it's really about the tactile feel of the dials and controls. And this is not a new concept. This has already been proven by companies like Fujifilm and Olympus who've been doing very well with cameras like that. And it's great that we now have alternatives in different brands. All of these companies have excellent vintage cameras and tons of just classic heritage that they can pull new designs from. And I really think this is a great move from Nikon, and I hope that this will actually push some of the other companies to make similar stylings. All right, guys, well, thanks for joining us on this early look on the brand new Nikon ZFC. I really do think they got the styling down pat. I would even say that this is sexier than the Fujifilm X-T30, absolutely. And I think that would be a very interesting shootout in the future when we get production versions of this camera. Otherwise, please leave comments below. Let us know what you think about this brand new camera. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Do subscribe and click the notification bell so that when we do get a production version camera, you don't miss that review. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys soon.